June 24, 1941, near Rzyniai, Lithuania. The road runs east to west across gently rolling farmland, bordered by patches of forest and shallow marsh. It is not a major highway, but it is wide enough for columns of vehicles to pass in both directions. In late June, the weather is warm and dry. Dust hangs low over the road, kicked up by hundreds of boots and tires moving forward without pause. 3 days earlier, Germany launched Operation Barbarossa. Along a front stretching hundreds of miles, the Wehrmacht advanced with confidence built from victories in Poland, France, and the Balkans. Soviet resistance, where encountered, had often collapsed under the speed and coordination of German armor and air power. Here, in Lithuania, the German 6th Panzer Division is pushing east as part of Army Group North. Its objective is clear: break through Soviet border defenses, seize key road junctions, and continue the rapid advance toward the Daugava River. Intelligence reports suggest disorganized Soviet units falling back in confusion. The road ahead appears open. It is not. The 6th Panzer Division is a veteran formation. Its corps consists of Panzer III and Panzer IV tanks, supported by motorized infantry, engineers, artillery, and anti-tank units. The division has moved quickly since crossing the border, bypassing pockets of resistance and leaving mopping-up operations to follow on infantry. Fuel is precious. Time is more precious still. By the morning of June 24, German forward elements encounter unexpected resistance near the town of Rzyniai. Soviet units of the 2nd Tank Division, part of the 3rd Mechanized Corps, are counterattacking. The engagement escalates quickly. German commanders expect Soviet armor to be poorly coordinated and technologically inferior. Then they see the first heavy tank. It is larger than anything they have faced before. Its silhouette is unfamiliar. Thick armor plates slope sharply at the front. Wide tracks churn through soft ground Witho. The KV-1 is a Soviet heavy tank designed for breakthrough operations. It weighs over 45 tons. Its frontal armor is up to 90 mm thick, far beyond the penetration capability of standard German 37 mm anti-tank guns. It carries a 76.2 mm main gun capable of destroying German tanks at ranges beyond 1,000 meters. In 1941, very few German units have effective weapons against it. The German response is immediate but confused. Crews reposition their guns. More rounds are fired. The shells leave white scars on the tank's armor but do no damage. The KV-1 continues forward, firing deliberately, disabling vehicles and forcing infantry to scatter. Most Soviet tanks in the area are soon destroyed by German coordination and air support. But one KV-1 does not retreat. Instead, it moves onto a key road behind German forward units and stops. It positions itself across the road. Then it waits. By midday, German supply columns begin to encounter the obstruction. Trucks carrying fuel and ammunition halt. Engineers attempt to assess the situation but cannot approach without drawing fire. The KV-1 fires only when necessary, conserving ammunition. Each shot is precise. German commanders realize the implications quickly. Their forward units are now cut off from resupply. Fuel consumption has been high. Ammunition stocks are limited. The division's momentum begins to slow. Attempts to destroy the tank begin almost immediately. A battery of 37 mm anti-tank guns is brought forward. They fire at close range, aiming at tracks, vision ports, any apparent weak point. The shells shatter or bounce away. The tank responds with a single round, destroying one gun and forcing the rest to withdraw. German engineers attempt to approach under cover of darkness. They crawl forward carrying satchel charges. The KV-1's crew hears them. Machine gun fire sweeps the roadside. The engineers pull back, leaving casualties behind. The tank does not move. As night falls, the situation grows more serious. German artillery fires indirect rounds, but without direct observation, the effect is minimal. The tank's position is too close to friendly troops for heavy bombardment. Luftwaffe support is requested, but aircraft are engaged elsewhere and darkness limits effectiveness. Inside the KV-1, the crew remains at their stations. Their exact identities are not recorded. Their orders are clear enough: hold the road. They are isolated. No infantry supports them. No resupply is possible. The engine runs intermittently to conserve fuel. The crew listens for movement, watches the road through narrow vision slits, and waits. They have already delayed an entire division. On the morning of June 25, German commanders escalate their efforts. A battery of 88mm flak guns is brought forward. The weapon is normally used against aircraft, but its high-velocity shells can penetrate heavy armor. Positioning the gun is difficult. The road is exposed, and the KV-1 commands the area with direct fire. Under covering fire from tanks and infantry, the 88 is moved into position. As the gun crew prepares to fire, the KV-1 rotates its turret. One shot is fired. The shell strikes near the gun, killing or wounding several crewmen. The survivors abandon the position. Another attempt is made from a different angle. This time, smoke is used for concealment. The 88 fires. The shell strikes the KV-1's turret. It penetrates, damaging internal components but not destroying the tank. The KV-1 fires back, disabling the gun. The road remains blocked. By now, the delay has lasted nearly a full day. German forward units report fuel shortages. Artillery units cannot reposition. Infantry movements are constrained. What was expected to be a rapid advance has slowed to a crawl because of a single vehicle. Late on June 25, German engineers attempt a final approach. Under cover of fire, they crawl close enough to place explosives directly onto the tank. Charges detonate against the tracks and hull. The blast damages the suspension but does not destroy the vehicle. The KV-1 fires its machine guns until ammunition runs out. When German infantry finally approach, they find the tank immobilized but intact. The crew is dead inside. Whether from internal damage, fire, or concussion is unclear. They never abandoned their position. The road is finally open. The delay has cost the Germans time they cannot recover. Soviet forces elsewhere regroup. River crossings are reinforced. The advance toward Leningrad slows. The engagement near Ryazany becomes one of the first clear signs that the war in the East will not resemble previous campaigns. German after-action reports take note of the KV-1 with concern. New tactics are developed. Greater emphasis is placed on heavy anti-tank weapons. The appearance of Soviet heavy armor forces a reassessment of German assumptions. For the Soviets, the action is barely recorded amid the chaos of the retreat. The crew's names are not preserved. Their tank is eventually destroyed or captured, its remains lost to the battlefield. But their impact is. The story spreads among German troops. Not as propaganda, but as experience. A single tank, properly positioned, had halted an entire division's movement for nearly 2 days. It had done so without support, without retreat, and without maneuver. It had simply refused to move. In the weeks and months that follow, German units encounter more KV tanks. Each engagement is costly. The early confidence of the invasion fades. The war becomes slower, heavier, and far more lethal. Near Ryazany, the road looks ordinary again. Dust settles. Vehicles pass through without stopping. Nothing marks the spot where the tank stood. But for those who were there, the lesson is permanent. Roads are never truly open. And assumptions, once made, can be shattered by a single gun, a single crew, and a decision to hold. That tank did not change the outcome of the campaign. It did something smaller, and more immediate. It stopped a division. The destruction of the tank does not end the fighting near Rzyni. It only removes one obstruction from a battlefield that is rapidly becoming unstable on all sides. By the afternoon of June 25, 1941, German supply columns begin to move again, cautiously at first. Fuel trucks roll past the wrecked KV-1, drivers slowing instinctively, scanning the tree lines as if expecting the tank to fire again. Infantry walk alongside the road, weapons raised. The division resumes its advance, but the rhythm has changed. Orders are shorter. Movements are tighter. Every stretch of road is treated with suspicion. The delay has created gaps in the timetable that cannot be erased. Further east, remnants of the Soviet 3rd Mechanized Corps are still fighting. Though most of its tanks have been destroyed or abandoned, small groups continue to resist from villages, forest edges, and river crossings. The Germans encounter burned-out hulks of BT and T-26 tanks along the roads, light vehicles shattered by air attack or anti-tank fire. Among them are heavier wrecks, their armor cracked or torn open only after repeated hits. The KV tanks stand out. German crews walk around the destroyed vehicles, tapping armor plates with knuckles, measuring thickness with calipers, examining penetration marks. Many shells have failed to penetrate at all. Others have gouged shallow scars. Only heavy-caliber hits or close-range explosive charges appear effective. Reports move up the chain of command. By late June, German intelligence summaries include repeated references to new Soviet heavy tanks. They are described as slow but extremely resilient. Standard anti-tank weapons are judged insufficient. Field improvisation becomes doctrine. In the days following the Rzyni engagement, German units begin adapting in real time. Tank crews are instructed to aim for tracks rather than hulls. Artillery is ordered to engage heavy tanks directly whenever possible. Infantry are trained to approach with explosives only under strict coordination and covering fire. The 88mm gun, previously regarded primarily as an anti-aircraft weapon, becomes a battlefield necessity. But in late June 1941, these adaptations are uneven and incomplete. The advance continues, but it is no longer effortless. For the Soviet side, the action near Rzyni occurs during a moment of near-total collapse. Communications between headquarters are fragmented. Orders contradict one another. Units move without coordination, often unaware of the fate of neighboring formations. The KV-1 that blocked the road is likely part of the 2nd Tank Division's scattered counterattacks. These counterattacks are poorly synchronized and suffer heavy losses, but their intent is clear: disrupt the German advance wherever possible, even briefly. In this context, the decision to hold the road makes sense. The KV-1's design philosophy emphasizes survivability and shock. It is meant to break through defenses, not hold ground indefinitely. Yet in the chaos of the early invasion, doctrine gives way to necessity. A single tank, isolated but intact, becomes a fortress. The crew's choice is tactical, not symbolic. They take a position that matters. They understand the road's importance. And once there, withdrawal is no longer possible. Inside the tank during those final hours, conditions are harsh. The KV-1's interior is cramped and poorly ventilated. Heat builds quickly. Fumes linger after every shot. Visibility is limited to narrow slits and periscopes. Communication with the outside world is non-existent. The crew listens. They hear engines approaching, then stopping. They hear shouted commands in German. They hear the clank of equipment being moved into place. Each sound is evaluated. Each pause is measured. They fire only when necessary. Ammunition is finite. Fuel is finite. The tank's advantage lies in endurance, not aggression. When German infantry attempts to approach under cover of darkness, the machine guns respond. The tank's hull-mounted and coaxial weapons are used sparingly but effectively. Tracer rounds are avoided when possible, to limit visibility. The crew knows the night will not last forever. The morning of June 25 brings renewed danger. The arrival of the 88mm gun marks a turning point. The crew recognizes the weapon immediately. Its distinctive profile is visible even through limited optics. The sound of its firing mechanism is unmistakable. The first penetrating hit does not destroy the tank, but it changes everything. Internal components are damaged. Spalling fills the interior with fragments of steel. Crew members are wounded or killed by concussive force even where armor holds. Still, the tank continues to fire. This persistence, more than the armor itself, leaves the deepest impression on the German troops involved. The KV-1 does not retreat. It does not surrender. It remains in position until it can no longer function. When the Germans finally approach the immobilized vehicle, they do so cautiously, weapons ready, expecting resistance to resume at any moment. It does not.